On this week's episode, we're excited for E3 2018. We break down the latest Funko documentary, and why is Josh so upset at a girl with a dragon tattoo? I'm gonna start this over. On this week's episode, we're excited for E3 2018. We break down the latest Funko documentary, and why is Josh so upset at a girl with a dragon tattoo? All this and more as we once again delve into the pop culture cosmos. And we're back with another edition of the Pop Culture Cosmos. My name is Gerald Glasser from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly thank you for tuning into our shows each and every week. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He is the Supreme Command Leader of Humanica Media. I hope I got that right. It's Josh Peterson. What's up, man? Or sir. Should I say sir?
That's right. You gotta salute. You gotta salute. All right. I accept. What's going on, man? I'm good. Just watched some Microsoft E3. How are you doing?
I am doing okay. I'm kind of all warm and fuzzy with my Xbox Ones right now after that conference. Some good, maybe not so good. Maybe some things I still wanted left to hear. We'll talk about that more here in a sec. Also, as well, we've got Rob McCallum standing by in the Cosmic Crossfire. He's going to be talking about the Funko Pop that's now currently on Netflix. He breaks it down as far as his thoughts on the documentary itself, and also what his thoughts are on the Funko craze in and of itself. Plus, we've got Greg Hall from We Podcast and We Know Things. That great podcast available now on Castbox and so many other outlets. He's going to be breaking down more on what he hopes for E3 2018 this week. E3 2018 this week. And also, speaking of E3 2018, I know Josh is heading down there to E3 2018 in Los Angeles this week, but also as well, our good friend Douglas Hoyabu from Retro City Games, he's going to be talking about what he's looking forward to when he hits the showroom floor at E3. But Josh, I will tell you, it was the Xbox press conference that just ended for us here as we record the broadcast. Some hits, some misses, but for us, it all starts with Gears and Halo, with Halo Infinite and Gears of War 5 both being announced, but neither given a release date this year. Is that kind of concerning for you, or do you think that they're going to be able to put it out anytime soon?
So Microsoft kind of pulled a Sony on us. You know, they showed us a lot of really cool games, but with vague, if any, release windows. I don't think we're going to see either of those games this year. And for me personally, like, oh, cool, a Halo game, but what is it? They didn't really, you know, they had this habit. They show the little cinematics, and then the next year at E3 they'll show the gameplay, and then that fall the game usually comes out. So I'm wondering if they're going to stick to that release schedule. As for Gears, I cannot tell you how disappointed I am in that trailer. I don't know what, like, maybe that was just because there's a video taken out of context, but I like Kate as a character, but I don't want to see the Phoenixes turned into these like just side characters, because these are we got attached to JD in Gears of War 4, and now it seems like he's just this kind of just a dick, you know. And he's joined. They're all back in the coalition or whatever, and I don't know, man. I'm just not. I want to see, like, they have this really powerful moment in the end of Gears 4 where like JD clearly cares a lot about Kate, and then they showed us this, and he's all bald and he's scarred up. Like, what happened? Why is this going on? But is he going to be like, are we going to get any more depth to that character, or is this just going to be, I know the game's all about Kate, but I wanted to see that relationship bloom a little bit more, but now it seems like we're just getting another, like a Tomb Raider in the Gears of War universe.
I don't think it was the best cinematic to show people. That is something that tells me that the game is closer to release, whether it's going to be an early 2019 release. I'm not sure, but it tells me that they're closer to a release for that game than they are Halo. But what it also tells me is that it just really didn't resonate with the fans because I heard mild clapping. I didn't hear much of an enthusiasm for it. Plus, Gears of War 5 wasn't the game that closed out E3 for Xbox. It was actually Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red, which isn't even their title. So it was kind of interesting to see that they didn't even close the show with one of their biggest properties. And the fact that they just wanted to go ahead and push the mobile game, which coincidentally to our show, is also based off of Funko Pop in with the Gears of War franchise. That's going to be a mobile game coming out next year, plus a tactical RPG as well within the Gears of War universe. They seem to be more into that and just show us this cutscene, which was kind of out of place for what we wanted to really see of Gears of War 5. They did show a little bit of action from the game, but it was very small and minute compared to what they showed out of the cinematic trailer, which quite frankly was kind of just there and really didn't grab the players or the gamers, or me for that matter, at all whatsoever.
No, I'm on the same page. I was glad to see that it was happening, and I got really stoked when he said Gears 5, but then I saw that and it feels not Gears to me. Like it kind of like what 343 did with Halo 5. The story feels like something that they're just going to just beat it to death and not give us, just for the sake of moving the narrative forward, instead of giving fans the stories that they truly deserve out of these franchises that they've been following for the past 10, 12 years, or even longer than that.
One of the best video game releases of the recent memory is the Mad World trailer for Gears of War series. And that was something I was hoping for in that realm. I know a lot of other video game companies have tried to follow suit with something similar, with a beautiful song, a rendition of a remake or whatever, and try to incorporate their gripping parts of their series, or even if it's just a trailer made up out of nowhere, they just wanted to go ahead and try and get that emotional connection. I was hoping for something like that with Gears of War 5, but instead we just got a cutscene that we're going to be playing in the game, and it wasn't, to me, that compelling. Just seemed like, okay, if you played Gears of War 4, then you must know what's going on, so you must be already involved and invested into it. If you're someone that maybe stepped out on Gears of War 4 and wants to get back into the Gears of War series, you're kind of lost on what's going on. It just really was kind of out of place. I expected the trailer to grab me when it comes to Gears of War 5, and I really didn't get it.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I understand, I've been reading all these articles on Polygon and GameSpot, and they're saying that apparently Microsoft has big plans for the Gears of War franchise, but just by watching that trailer and the footage, it doesn't seem like it, because not only was does it seem like the story is going to be something that people are not going to enjoy, but just if you look at the gameplay, it doesn't look very Gears of War. It looks like it's just a, like an Uncharted. There wasn't a lot of gunplay. You had the Kate was swinging around the big baseball bat or whatever and knocking out creatures, but where's like the tactical, shooter that we know and love. So I'm hoping that this was just a moment out of the game, a few moments that, in the greater scheme of things are not what we should be concerned about, but this game does have me concerned.
And they do have a lot in store for the Gears franchise. As I mentioned, a tactical RPG similar to what we saw with Halo Wars. Of course, they've got a mobile game on the way, like I said, with their collaboration with Funko Pop. Yay. I'm so excited for that. But I don't think, but like other gamers as well, hardcore gamers that were commenting at the time, they weren't too excited for either, and they wanted to know more about Gears 5, but also Halo Infinite as well. Those are the bookends, but what was in the middle was also kind of concerning because they did show a lot of world premieres for video games that are going to also appear on other platforms. Devil May Cry 5, Dying Light 2, and so many others. Yes, we did get a Forza Horizon 4, which looks okay, looks pretty good. But I really think a Project Gotham Racing reboot could have done even more. It could have garnered even more interest into that. Cuphead DLC, which is going to be coming out next year. Also, you have a new Battletoads on the way, which to me is not very exciting at all, since I really didn't care for the previous Battletoads iteration. And there's quite a few other things that came out. The big announcement to me during that whole thing was that Microsoft has acquired or created 5 new studios, the most prominent among them being Ninja Theory, also the developer for We Happy Few. They did finally purchase the Forza creation, the Forza creators, Playground Studios, who are actually going to be creating another IP on top of that, which they're already doing with Forza Horizon 4. So they are making an effort to try and improve the Xbox brand. But the thing still is, to me, Josh, is that they don't really have a lot of big things that are coming on the way anytime soon, which to me is what they really needed, because they really had an opportunity this year to really pounce on the video game marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, they were good and bad. They got a lot of console exclusives, exclusive at launch materials, Devil May Cry 5 amongst them, which actually looks really cool. I was wondering if they were going to, if they're going to follow Ninja Theory's game, or if they're going to just make a true to the series sequel. And it's cool to see Nero out there. And the game, it looks, I love, maybe this was just a trailer, but I love that it looks so much less anime than the original titles did. It actually looks very real, very dark, and like this time it actually has a compelling story, because you see Nero get his arm ripped off, and that was kind of what gave him his powers, and not his powers, but like the abilities to like reach out and grab things, slam them into the ground like he did in the number 4. So I'm excited to play it. I've been waiting for that for a long time. But yeah, I mean, Cuphead DLC looks interesting. I love the idea of what was it, Jump Force, that was bringing all the Funimation characters together. That was that was cool. Let me ask you this: do you think that it'd be fun if Bandai, instead of making just a straight up fighting game, that they made something where you had to go through an open world and play through a story, and then the fighting games were kind of like battle screens like Final Fantasy had?
Well, I think that would be a market improvement over what we have seen so far from them. So yeah, I agree with you on that. The trailer for the latest Kingdom Hearts 3, which is finally a reality as far as a set date, early next year. So it is coming to consoles for sure. It looked okay. It looked, a lot of people were like, okay, yes, I played Kingdom Hearts back in the day, but I may give it a try, I may not. So it didn't seem to wow anybody. And that's the thing I saw as an overall theme, even with the new Tomb Raider and so many other games that they announced there, along with the other ID at Xbox independent games that they're also coordinating with as well, is that there was nothing that really surprised, shocked, or enlightened people there. Maybe outside of Cyberpunk 2077, but that didn't even garner a wow type atmosphere, especially after an hour and a half of playing, hour and a half of watching game trailers and whatnot. You see Division 2. There was just so many other titles that were good there, but nothing really that stood out that made you say, wow, I got to go and get an Xbox One right now.
Well, it's weird that you say that, because if you read a lot of the comments on like Polygon and IGN on the scrolling comments, a lot of people are saying, "Hey, this is making me want to go out and get an Xbox." So I don't know, man. Like they had some cool stuff. It looks like a lot of it is in the very early stages of development because you can kind of see it look glitchy. And I know this time it wasn't just Twitch or whatever making everything look really glitchy on the screen, but you know, it was nice to see they had their big franchises. I'm excited for Cyberpunk 2077. You know, what was the samurai game where the guy had the mechanical arm? I forget what that one was called, but that looked pretty cool. PUBG, you know, that's I don't know, like why. Is there an interest in console players to keep going with that, or is that I thought that's like a PC?
Well, no, like, remember, Xbox has made a market investment in it. In fact, they were bundling it as late, you know, just recently,
that's right,
which you can still find out there as far as a bundle with PlayerUnknown's PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Yes, they're obviously going to bring a new mode to it to bring excitement to it, even though you can play Fortnite, which is at this point in time a much bigger game than PUBG. But PUBG is still, even if it's the #2 battle royale game out there, it still has a very large audience, which Xbox is trying to tap into. The one other thing I want to talk about is Xbox Game Pass. Why spend so much time on the fast access process? I mean, that's something they could have announced at a later point in time, especially if it's not a update that they're having right now. It's coming out later this month. That I didn't need to hear. I just needed to hear what they have, what they're bringing out, and what's coming soon to Xbox Game Pass that wants to make me buy it. And then also reiteration of the price so that people can be, that don't have it can understand what a great deal and a great concept it is. That to me would have been more interesting than this spending this 4 or 5 minutes with this fast access process that they're getting, which is great, which is fine. I'm sure it's a great feature when it finally comes out, but that's what you have when you have just, I don't know, especially when you have individuals that are not able to go ahead and really just emphasize how good these products are. These developers, these studio heads, these CEOs, I mean, a lot of them are just not great public speakers. And when you have issues like that, it's so hard to communicate that to the masses. You only get a few minutes and a first time to make a first impression. And when you put these people who are very uncomfortable out in a public place, instead of like have, say, Phil Spencer do it for you, who is very comfortable out there, that makes it even harder for you to pitch your game or your concept or whatever it is you're trying to promote to all the people out there that are watching and that are in the Galen Center or whatever platform you're at, trying to pitch whatever video game concept you're trying to create.
Yeah, so here's the thing with that. The Xbox Games Pass, love that they're actually putting stuff on there that people want to play. Like, a lot of the stuff that's on there, they have Gears 4, Halo 5, whatever, but all the other games, they're titles that people have played before. So they're titles that people, like, you know, they have their Sonics, they have your Tale of Two Brothers, like they have indie games, Xbox backwards compatibility games. And yeah, people like the idea of playing those, but I'm curious how many people actually play them. So now they're putting stuff on there that people that's current and people would actually, you know, want to go back and play. You have Elder Scrolls, The Division, stuff like that. But I haven't even heard about that being a problem this with the slow load times, because it's a new type thing. You're downloading games and you're playing them off of a service. I haven't heard anyone complaining about the load times. Have you?
Not really. And then it's also based off of your internet speed, because it has to be based off of your internet speed or whatever it is, cables, you know, digital or whatever you have as far as your service is concerned. So it's a two-way street. So before, you know, you say, hey, it's this great fast access, it's great on our end, it still is, you know, a lot of on your end, you can then translate that in console and your internet can. So before we go ahead and say, yay, great fast access stuff, don't spend a whole lot of time on it. In fact, this is something you should have maybe announced at a different point in time during maybe the E3 conference. I mean, this is the type of thing that Nintendo does well. All this ancillary stuff that is not really game centric and game focused, they announce while they're on the show floor or in tree houses or something in a different format than in front of millions out there in a live audience format. So to me, I thought it was a missed opportunity just to talk about the games of the Game Pass and what a great deal it is. That's what you should focus on, and that's what you need to focus on the most.
Yeah, but I mean, in all honesty, I am okay now with paying the monthly fee for Game Pass because there is content that is being promised that I will be interested in playing. But I have three things I still want to talk about real quick. Ori and the Blind Forest. So Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I don't think I can. I want to play it, but the first game made me cry, man. I don't know if I can go back and play this one. I just it's a beautiful game, but dang, it is
chin up, man.
sad.
Stick that chin up, man. You can bear through it. You can bear through it.
Man, I was just watching the trailer. I was having flashbacks. I was like, don't cry, don't cry.
Get the tissues out, my friend. But yes, it is still looking very good. I'm not as impressed with it as I was the original, but it looks like it still can be a very solid game for Microsoft. And a lot of their other titles that they're, in fact, that We Happy Few is finally getting a release date now that Microsoft Studios has purchased their development team, that they go ahead and they now have a solid release date of mid-August. That was nice because I'm still hopeful that that title can enlighten audiences as well. And then there was other games that you
real quick.
Yeah.
We Happy Few, doesn't that remind you of like a cross between Dishonored and Fable?
To me, it looks like more like a Dishonored and BioShock type deal as far as the type of weird, different environment that it creates. And then, but it does create a nice, interesting storyline. Whether or not it translates into something that is going to be effective to a larger audience, you never know with those type of outside the box type games. It's usually hit or miss, but hey, it might be something worthwhile, and I'm actually interested to be hopefully getting my hands on it come mid-August. What were your thoughts on the Life is Strange devs new title in regards to Captain Spirit? And it's actually a free-to-play game starting, I believe, right now that's available on Xbox One.
This is why people like Life is Strange so much, because they have a lot of goodwill towards their fans. Not only were the first game was okay, second one, the episodic, I didn't get all the way through it, but it was fun, and it tells a good tale. And then you have this new one coming out, which looks really good. And it just looks like, it reminds me of Alan Wake, so how all the things kind of take place in the imagination or in the kid's head. So I really love that concept, and the fact that it's free, like, just sign me up, man. I'm down to play. Did you like the other ones?
They were good. I just, like I said, it's something where it's a different type of game, so it may not resonate with everyone that just are always into the shooters and space stuff and all that. These type of games where it comes to We Happy Few and Captain Spirit, they fit a niche audience. Obviously, they've done well enough to get that type of promotion. So I'm hoping that they will get the chance and love that they deserve. One last thing, my friend, when we're talking about Xbox, and hopefully Xbox, and I do want to make sure and let everybody know that we will be sharing our thoughts hopefully during the week as far as what's going on with Nintendo and PlayStation and thoughts on E3 2018. But I know Josh and I will also have a wrap up as well on our Friday show, the PCC Multiverse, if not sooner. I want to ask you this, Josh, all in all with the Xbox conference, what were your thoughts on it? If you give it a letter grade, what would it be? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I just want to know, is there stuff that you think that they should have done better, that they should have had? Because for me, it starts off with, like you said, titles like Alan Wake, Fable, they were conveniently missing, and they were sorely missed as far as new IP there. We did get a Crackdown 3 finally as far as a new video with gameplay and all that, but that got delayed till next year. So your thoughts overall on the Xbox conference? Letter grade, go for it, because I think I'm going to do that as well.
I give it an 8. It delivered enough to save Xbox.
So about a B. So about a B, right?
Yeah, it delivered enough to keep the fans happy and maybe bring on some new ones, but it didn't give us everything they want. I know that's a tall order, anyways. But one thing though, did you see the complete lack of applause that happened during the trailer for the skateboarding game?
Yes. Or like Skate 4, Skate 4, Skate 4. And when the name Sessions came up, because it's a different development studio doing this, Sessions is what the game is called as of this point in time. Everybody was going like, huh? WTH? I don't understand. This is not Skate 4. This is not Tony Hawk. Yeah, this is an all new skateboarding game called Sessions. In fact, I was surprised by Phil Spencer leading off the program saying it's the largest gathering ever for an Xbox conference. Yet I heard very tepid applause, and I heard a lot of the silence at times for these video game trailers was almost deafening, which was really a disappointment because in the past I've been there to Xbox conferences and I've also seen a few. And if people are really excited, you can actually tell even if you're watching from a distance.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder too how much of that was just because there's a lot of like the actual applause just because there's a lot of people gathered in the same place. But real quick though, we're talking. So there's a couple more things here, and I'll say them super fast. But Dying Light 2, the whole concept of having decisions affect decisions affect decisions. This game sounds like it's going to be exhausting. Like I know Detroit Become Human had something like that, and maybe this is what Microsoft's trying to do. But it feels like, just by the way the guy was describing it, it feels like there's no way to really like win this game or play it comfortably. It sounds like everything you do is going to create a problem that's going to just make the game take so long to complete.
It definitely sounds like that, and it's obviously sneaky ways to try and elongate the game itself and the gameplay. I'm not exactly thrilled by Dying Light 2. I mean, I got a chance to play Dying Light. I wasn't exactly overjoyed while playing it, so I'm not 100% enjoyed. 100% looking forward to Dying Light 2, but you know what? It could surprise me later on. Dying Light was a successful title, so a lot of people probably are looking forward to that. I was hoping for another Dead game like Left 4 Dead 3. That would have been awesome, or Dead Island 2. I was hoping that would finally come to fruition, but that doesn't seem to be the case as of right now. But I'm hoping that will change. And that right now, the only dying that we're going to be seeing is in Dying Light 2. But that's okay. That's fine. At least it's something that players and gamers can look forward to, even though maybe it's not exactly our cup of tea. I will say this to close out this part of to close out this segment. I will say that I'm going to give a passing grade to Xbox, but I'm not going to be as high on it as you are. I give it about a C plus. I'm going to give it a C plus, and I'm going to tell you why. Yes, they did announce that Gears and a Halo is on the way. They did have some pretty good, decent exclusives, and also some obviously, and the fact that they're acquiring 5 new studios shows an interest and a commitment to the gamers that they're in this for the long haul. But when it comes right down to it, the biggest thing about it and the why they only get a C level grade for me, a C plus, of course, is that I think that they should have had more games that were ready to go this year, that were big, that are going to attract a large audience, that are really going to get people to buy the Xbox One game, the Xbox One system now, or in sometime in 2018, not 2019, not 2020. Hopefully they can. They were supposed to go ahead and have this opportunity now to go ahead and really reel in gamers away from the Switch and away from the PlayStation 4. They had that opportunity, and I think they passed it on by. They missed it. They missed it. They should have had their development cycles on a lot of these games maybe a little bit more toned up, a little bit better, what have you, because like I said, this doesn't look like the strongest year Red Dead 4 video game. Hopefully I'm proven wrong on that. I was just hoping that they would go ahead and make bigger announcements that would come in a sooner time frame, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. So that's why they only get the C+ from me.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll see what I know. Sony doesn't have a huge lineup of games they're showing. They already said that. So it's up to Nintendo now, and we're all curious what Ubisoft's going to show. Of course, it's going to be Assassin's Creed, but Bethesda's still up tonight, so we don't know what they might. It looks like they've got a little love fest going on with Microsoft, having their their guy hit up the Microsoft stage. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? They did show some Fallout. They still haven't really said exactly what it is, but I think there's still some exciting announcements. And what we didn't see at Microsoft, it's possible there could be some announcements later on for Xbox titles that we just haven't seen yet.
Well, Fallout 76 was announced as a prequel to the Fallout games. I don't know, I guess I'm assuming it's just right as the bombs drop as far as the nuclear bombs and the shelter and the aftermath of it. But I agree with you. They're obviously working well. They're obviously working well with Xbox on that, so it's a good sign to see for gamers with Bethesda and Xbox working. They're right. Are going to be later tonight on that, so forward to there. But as I said earlier, Josh and I hopefully will get a chance to share our thoughts on E3 2018 at points in time during this week. So stay tuned to our Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source social media outlets in order to get all that great news out there. Also, as well, we got our show coming up on Friday. We're going to wrap up everything in a nice, tidy bow when it comes to E3 2018. So definitely look forward to that. And Josh will be there live at E3 this year. He's going to be doing a lot of recording while he's there, and stay tuned for all of the great action from E3 on his Humanica Media YouTube outlet. All right. It's going to be a great episode. Like I said, we've got for everyone out there today, we've got Rob McCallum standing by in the Cosmic Crossfire. He's going to be talking about, speaking of Funko, like we did earlier with Gears of War and that mobile mashup, he's going to be talking about the Funko Pop trailer, the Funko Pop documentary that's now on Netflix. He's going to share he's going to expound on his thoughts on that film. Plus, also later on, speaking of E3, we've got Greg Hall from We Podcast and We Know Things. You got to check out that show on Castbox. He's going to be talking more about what he hopes to see at E3 2018. And Douglas Hoyabu from Retro City Games, he's going to be at E3 2018 like Josh. He's going to share his thoughts on what he's looking forward to as this big video game convention takes place. This conference is unlike any other for the video game world. That's why we're focusing so much on it. It is going to be the talk of pop culture this week, and definitely right here. And you can always check out the latest information on what's going on at E3 at our Game Source, Humanica Media, and Pop Culture Cosmos social media sites. It's going to be a great show we have lined up for you today. Josh will also be leaving his thoughts on why he's mad at the sequel to A Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. He's going to share his thoughts as we close out the show on that as well. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're back to close out the show. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to the program. Just want to make sure you got to subscribe to any one of those awesome networks on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel, and we send them right to you. Plus bonus
Yeah, so for Humanican Media, this week we have a new Topicocalypse going up. You can listen to the last one right now, which I think is up about Huawei cell phones, if you've been curious about the Chinese cell phone maker and why the American cell phone companies are don't want to let them into the market. We discussed that. And there's a new Numenera episode up for the Super BS Gamescast, so you can check that out too. And also, my buddy Charles is going to have a Stanley Cup reaction going up here soon on Inside Sports. But other than that, it's just business as usual.
Josh, did I lose you? Josh, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me? You're cutting in and out, man.
Don't tell me I lost you.